Jaya Yasodanandana Jaya Prajajanarandana Jaya Prajajanarandana Jaya Yasodanandana Jaya Prajajanarandana Jaya Prajajanarandana Jaya Jamunatiravanachari Jaya Kunjabi Hari Jaya Jamunatiravanachari Jai Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jannavalabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Sadanandana Prajanarandana Yasadana Yashadanandana Prajanarandana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Rukmini Ragarish, Rukmini Ragarish, Rukmini Ragarish, Rukmini Ragarish. Jai Jagannath Swami, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra. Jai Gauranitai, 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 Jai Gauranitai. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Jaya Jaya Guru Dev. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Parivrajakacharya, Astoters at His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki. Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhana ki. Jai Vrindavan Dham ki. Jai Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki. Jagannath Puri Purushottam Kshetra ki. Jai Jamuna Mai ki jai, Ganga Devi ki jai, Samavita Vetta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Can you find this? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nastapraisu Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for coming and to Bhagavatam class. Most beautiful literature. And Maharaj, please give me your blessings. It's embarrassing to talk in front of such elevated souls. And today we're doing Canto 3, Chapter 21, Text 56. Yeah. Okay. Atapi priche tvam dvira yad artham tvam ihagataha tatvayam nivalikena pratipadya mahi hridha atapi priche tvam vera yadartham tvamiha gataha tatvayam nivalikena pratipadya mahi hridha atapi priche tvam vera yadartham tvamiha gataha Yadvayam nivalikena pratipadya mehi hridha. Word for word. Oh yeah. We're reading the verse, Maharaj. Vaishnavis. Word for word, Ata Api, in spite of all this, Priche, I ask, Twan, you, Veera, O valiant king, Yad Artham, the purpose, Twan, you, Iha, here, Agataha, have come, Tat, that, Vayam, we, Nirvalikena, without reservation, Pratipadya Mehi, we shall carry out, Thridha, with the heart and soul. Translation. In spite of all this, I ask you, O valiant king, the purpose for which you have come here. Whatever it may be, we shall carry it out without reservation. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When a guest comes to a friend's house, it is understood that there is some special purpose. Kadama Muni could understand that such a great king as Swayambhu, Bhuva, although traveling to inspect the condition of his kingdom, must have had some special purpose to come to his hermitage. Thus he prepared himself to fulfill the king's desire. Formerly, it was customary that the sages used to go to the kings, and the kings used to visit the sages in their hermitages. Each was glad to fulfill the other's purpose. This reciprocal relationship is called Bhakti Karya. There is a nice verse describing the relationship of mutual beneficial interest between the Brahmana and the Kshatriya. Kshatriya Dvijatvam. Kshatriya means the royal order, and Dvijatam means the Brahminical order. The two were meant for mutual interest. The royal order would give protection to the Brahmanas for the cultivation of spiritual advancement in society, and the Brahmanas would give their valuable instructions to the royal order on how the state and the citizens can gradually be elevated in spiritual perfection. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the third canto, Conversations between Manu and Kadama. In spite of all this, I ask you, O valiant king, the purpose for which you have come here, whatever it may be, we shall carry it out without reservation. Om Jnana Timrandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Shakshun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruhu Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Sha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namosate Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Sri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Good morning, everyone. May we all have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. Such a nice, you can see how nice is this Vedic culture. The time taken to welcome the guest and to say beautiful, praiseworthy words. And it's so interesting how in the Vedic culture there was so much time, and despite all the promises of the modern world, that with all the help of all the machines, that we will have so much free time. We don't see it in practical application. In fact, nobody has time for anything anymore. Simply zoom, 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 as Prabhupada would say. Rushing here and there after some goal, some meaningless goal, really. And it's very, very sad. But here we can see the Vedic culture in full swing. And Kadama Muni is welcoming the king, who is touring his dominion for the purpose of making sure that everything is in proper order. It's a very beautiful cooperative relationship. This reciprocal relationship is called Bhakti Karya, and it's mutually beneficial relationship where we have two personalities of different natures cooperating together for the benefit of the whole. Because the king, he has to do so many material activities. He has to protect the citizens. He has to make sure that Dharma is being upheld. And he has to keep strong. He has to be capable of killing miscreants. He has to enforce law and order. And the sage is completely peaceful in his role. He can completely dedicate his life to his spiritual life. He can be completely absorbed in creating the auspiciousness. That's the job of the Brahmanas. They create auspiciousness through their prayers, their meditations. And they also give direction to those who have to enforce and direct society, themselves just taking the position of advisors, and the king's actually putting it into action. For the Brahmanas, austerity is the wealth. They don't have any kind of payment. They're very renounced, because the position of renunciation gives them the ability to be able to speak truth, which is the main qualification of a Brahmana, apart from his spiritual dedication, is that he will always speak truth, because truth is very important for maintaining the wheels of the dharmic cycle. And in this way, he's able to give the king impartial guidance based on the Shastra. So the Brahmana is like the vision for the direction of society, and the king is the one who puts it into action, who weeds out the troublemakers, the miscreants, those who would denigrate society by, here it says, for men who hanker only after money. So fruitive activity, when fruitive activity becomes the predominant goal of human society, we just look around us, you can see exactly where fruitive activity takes society. So the king, his duty is to make sure that everyone in his domain is performing their prescribed duties, occupational duties, in proper sense. And that's why he's touring. He has another reason as well, but that's a main role of the king, who is like the parent. The king, he doesn't have any particular group or a division of society that he takes care of. He's the parent. He oversees the whole of society to make sure that everybody is benefited. This is very different from people of material interest who will obviously look after profit, and therefore some certain sections will not be so if for instance that business becomes part of government, then we have major problems on the planet. As we can see, we get the revolving door. I'm sure you all know what the revolving door is. And we get also the passing of rules, laws to facilitate the business, and they line their pockets. So this is a very different, and the goal of Vedic society is completely different than the goal of modern society. And so another major difference is that the king, he lives in opulence in his palace, whereas the Brahmin or the sage, he lives in the forest, in the mode of goodness, living on things that fall from trees or that he can take from the ground. Simple, very renounced. And the king, while he has many wives and is engaged in material things, the one who gives the advice is the celibate, the one who is giving all his love simply to Krishna and not to any human. Well, he gives it to humans as well, but through Krishna, like that. So, and the king, he always has to be in a very judgmental frame of mind. He has to pass judgment. He has to see, this is right, this is wrong, we have to destroy it, and this is right, we're going to help it. But the Brahmin or the sage, he's always seeing how Krishna is present in the hearts of all living beings, and seeing the unitedness of creation. But these two work together very nicely to upkeep the Vedic system. It's a cooperative relationship, and because it's in the terms of long-term public interest that people are fully engaged in devotional service, because only, as we know, all of us here, only devotional service can actually feed the soul. Only devotional service can give us full, it's not loud enough, only devotional service can give us full satisfaction on all levels. And so that's the king's job, to check that and to nip in the bud anything that's going off track. Because if it's not nipped in the bud, that bud will flower, that flower will create seeds, and those seeds will blow here and there on the wind. And each seed will become another plant which will have many buds. And so things can get off really quickly. Really quickly. It just came in my mind, it's not in my notes, but I met a young lady, very nice young lady, whose parents were from India. And but she was brought up in England, and she was saying to me, it's so funny, I went to the Swami Narayan temple. She's very devoted to Krishna, very nice, very, very devoted. I went to Swami Narayan temple, and it's so weird, you can't believe what they do. She's Indian background. You can't believe what they do. I said, well, what do they do? She said, the men sit on one side and the women sit on another side. And I was just laughing, because that's the Indian culture, that we keep a separation like that. And she was Indian, and she loved Krishna, and she was very devoted. But that simple thing had, because she grew up in England, where from the very beginning of life everyone's mixed up, so she couldn't understand. So what happens is that it becomes normal when a problem is not nipped in the bud. It will have fruits and flowers and seeds, and it will spread, and it will become normal. So what we see around us that we're talking about as being such a mess of society, to your average person is normal. It's the norm, the way it is today. So the king, his job is to root out those problems at the very beginning before they become deep-rooted and well-established and just part of the normal. The king protects also the Varna because it's also extraordinarily important. I was just listening to Mother Ormila's beautiful lecture, seminar actually. She'll be coming here and I'm sure you'll get the chance to hear it also about the Varnas and how when someone is not matching their psychophysical nature with the kind of work that they're doing in the world, all the problems that come out of that. Yeah, very big problems. And for instance, if someone who is by nature a doctor, but he does a job as a truck driver, not so good. But what if the truck driver does the job of a doctor? We have a big problem. So there's a lot of big problems with people not being established in their right situation and therefore not being able to perform their duties of their Varna in the right way, the Varna and Ashram in the right way. And you'll hear all about it, I'm sure, when she comes. It's really beautiful. And so the king, he protects the Varna because it's the celebration of the divine through occupational duties. What we do in the world has to completely fit with our inner, with our Dharma. It has to fit with us. We have to really believe in it. We can't be in the wrong situation, otherwise it will jar and it will cause so many problems. And she'll explain all about that. So we have Swadharma, which is our real, natural, what we're supposed to be doing according to our nature that we're born with. And then we have Paradharma, which one may adopt, sometimes out of necessity, like financial necessity, but it's never good to do it for very long. And it's causing so many problems. And so that's the other duty of the king. I'm just touching on these subjects because she will go into it in amazing depth and you'll be stunned by it. And I don't want to spoil it. Finally, in this point that we've got to now in Bhagavatam, they're talking about the Yad Artham, the purpose of the visit. So the sage has glorified the king for his wonderful job of upholding Dharma and glorified him for his prowess. And now he's asking his purpose, and we know his purpose. He's brought his daughter to marry to Kardama Muni, and they will create divine offspring. It said that one should not become a guru, a father, a mother, a teacher, if one does not have the propensity to be able to deliver one's offspring. So here we see very excellent examples of that type of people who can deliver their dependents. In fact, the dependent will even deliver everyone, as Kapila Muni. And the creating of the good progeny, because we can see that the main problem we have in society today is Varnasankara. Varnasankara causing all the problems. People are unhappy because their inner contentment from being rightly situated is not there. So there's a lot of agitation, a lot of problems, a lot of bickering, fighting, and a lot of material aiming, trying to fill that emptiness with material things. Basically, that's what it is. People want money because they're not happy, right? It's a fact. Like when you go to India, you will see less and less, but you could see, you know, the people have so much time, you know, to talk with each other. They're sitting on the street in the evenings. They have the cot out, the bed thing with the string between the square. And all families sitting there, children are playing, dogs are running, everyone's there, and everyone's, you can see, happy on a very deep level, because they have community, and They have the support around them that they need, and they have Dharma, the main thing. So the king is always the position of servant. He's the biggest servant actually of everyone, because he serves all people. And his praja is not only human beings, but that also extends to the animals who are also citizens of his kingdom. It also extends to the forests that dwell in his kingdom, the rivers that run through his kingdom, the seas that are part of his kingdom. He is taking care of everything through directing the government and his people in the right direction. So, and his major thing is to provide, because he's collecting taxes, so his major thing is that he's going to provide all facilities so that the whole population can practice their self-realization nicely, with nice facility. All levels of people get an opportunity. It's not that, anyway, all get the opportunity, because he creates facilities, constantly expanding like Krishna expands. This is Krishna's system, the Varnashram system, Chatovanam Maya Sristam. But this day, 99%, I just read it in one of these purports, Prabhupada saying 99.9% of population are agents of Kali. They're working for Kali. So, some people have to do work for things that they may not fully believe in for financial reasons. So that's one of the reasons that Prabhupada was very interested in acquiring land and temples and expanding, because he was creating the facility for people to live free from all the struggles of basically keeping a roof over your head and having food to eat. People work hours and hours and hours in terrible situations just so they can sleep under a roof. It's crazy. So Prabhupada was very interested in expanding so that more people can come and live and be free of the burden of making money just to keep a roof over their heads. And they can serve Krishna to their heart's content, 24/7, and give their whole life to Krishna. No more worries. So it would be very, very nice. So I was also reading, I thought it would be interesting to read, yesterday I was reading about King Vena. Because King Vena is not like Swayambhu. He's a king, he's a terrible the kind of king you do not want. And the Brahmanas went to King Vena. They knew from childhood that he was already like very bad nature, because he was killing his friends. His playmates. He was killing his playmates. But anyway, when the king left home, they needed a king, because all the rogues and rascals came out of the little cracks and crevices of the cities and the towns and started terrorizing the people. And you need the king, because the king is the valiant one who puts them down and controls them. So they put Vena on the throne. But Vena was a demon. And so the Brahmins went to him and advised him that by supporting the religious principles, you will increase your duration of life. You will increase your opulence, your strength, your reputation. So they were trying to get Vena to see good sense. But unfortunately, because he was demoniac, what did he do? He stopped all the Vedic rituals. He became the enemy of the citizens. Prabhupada said it was like a log of wood with a fire on both ends, and the citizens were like little ants struggling just to survive, because on one side you have the tax collector, on one side the rogues and thieves, and people just couldn't make a life. Like we can see, if you watch the news, you'll see so many people struggling like ants on a log with a fire burning on both ends. So in that time, the Brahmanas were very powerful. So with their high-sounding voices, they just killed him. After many talks, and like it wasn't just a spontaneous thing, but after many talks and discussions, how we're going to see to the protection of the citizens, how we're going to make sure that Dharma is continued, they decided that he would be removed. Time, oh yeah, the time, gosh. Oh God, I'm only on page 3. So anyway, so Srila Prabhupada, another reason that Prabhupada wanted to expand and have a lot of land was because he wanted to create good leadership. And to create good leadership, of course we can create good leadership with us people to some degree, but if we can have, children, like great souls brought in through the Garbhadan Samskar, raised, hearing Bhagavatam from the very beginning of life, educated from the very beginning of life in the principles of Dharma, and those people will become the leaders of society, then we can have some hope that this insanity will be redirected. And so Prabhupada was very much in the purpose to expand, get land, get facility, get more people to come, get them chanting Hare Krishna. And so when we have the right people in place to lead, then we will have a better society, and on top of that we will have some food security and autonomy, and people will become free to dedicate themselves to Krishna. So that's the role of the king. But I wanted to say something sweet at the end of all that, like quickly, I hope you're not all too busy, but quickly about amongst kings, we know the King of Kings is Krishna. Krishna is the emperor of sweetness, and everything about Krishna is sweet. His beautiful lotus eyes, his beautiful face, his heart is sweet, and his character is sweet. Krishna is like the king of moons, and he's called the Dvija Raja, king of moons. And Krishna and Radharani, although they separated eternally, they became one in the form of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, who came to earth with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani to teach us the path of love. And as Nimai, I wanted to talk about this because of Guru Purnim coming up. As Nimai Pandit, Lord Chaitanya, before he was Lord Chaitanya, he made so many, he really liked to show his scholarly brilliance. Like he would go everywhere and create arguments, and he would dispute the arguments and establish things as like concrete. That's exactly how it is. He was so brilliant, he was so beautiful, he was so charming, and everyone was like, yes, that's right. And when they all agreed with him, he would then dispute his own thing and change it all and put it down and re-establish something else. He was so brilliant that the devotees would say, oh no, there's Nimai, and they would cross the road so they don't have to get in a discussion with him. And then and they would say, oh Krishna, if only Nimai could become a devotee, can you imagine what would happen? How wonderful it would be. And of course, in time, as Lord Chaitanya's Leela went on, he took the role of showing us the life of a devotee, 100% dedicated to his service of Krishna, developing his love for Krishna, and serving humanity through guiding them, through helping them, through establishing a way of life which can be happy, prosperous, and which can go on, totally sustainable, can go on forever. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. Sorry to go over time. Hare Krishna. Any questions, points, anything?